Hello, dear Nancy Grace, if you hear this, and fellow YouTubers and other prosecutors. See, when prosecutors already, you guys are painted into the corners, painted yourselves in corners. Like Judge Napolitano and probate court judges with all this mass of people to all these massive people to put arraignments up. They're increasingly where our collusion, the collusion slash S at all locations slash S. For example, relative to where and to how our founders communicated for us in their subject in the communications to us, there was a breaching method involved, and everyone's words were measured and maintained. Collusions against ourselves or sense, so they did not have free speech. But also regarding Puff Daddy, Diddy, if it was him on the campus of Trinity College in 2011, a whole bunch of people from Weathersfield have roles with predicate acts like a Mark Violet and a Joshua Stryker have roles planting evidences criminally foreign. Sometimes it's the intelligence tied to them. Sometimes it's themselves criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw. But they have roles with the FBI with predicate acts at the corner of Griswold Street and Fairlane High, Fairlane in Weathersfield. Has something to do with a fake conversation or what they did with the Joshua Stryker and his conversations with the Dean Alford at Trinity College, who's involved with intelligence next to them, intercities, also with intelligence next to Trinity, next to Central Connecticut State University. Recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, having had collusions with the intelligence families from Weathersfield, who have been stacking predicate acts and falsified police reports and fake phone transcripts, changed ones, and changed digital, including with a principal involved with a principal, retired police chiefs, a police chief Cintron, a whole bunch of people tied to him, and people tied to his daughter and her daughter's reported husband, and and a police chief years ago, and her intimate ties with the same house involved with wire crimes and confessions of the police, and dropping names and then pretend we had conversations and totally faking conversations, including at the police station when I was a kid and then as an adult. As people increasingly connected, Mendes police have roles with Saudis a number of ways, also with people with the name Demoro and Scalora that forced them to collusions, but also with the other people. They have roles of overt criminal enterprises, private ones, now terrorists too. And they forced the Saudi. This is remote uses of Saudi's name and of America's name at the same time. These countries where they defend their names, it is tactical. They never had possession of it. Russians and Americans are also were confessed at Hartford Hospital and recorded. It involves all kinds of legal scams, all kinds of delusions too with psychiatry, black pupils. They have criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions, wrought takes on American history and on reality. You're going to observe all kinds of scams just concentrated there relative to this because it's with the interbranch still. In other words, one of the things they're doing is they're confessing their use of location slash. So they're leaving out how they can't lie on Twitter tied to their rackets databases. You know how many people with badges and gavels need them taken away? They need to be re-educated at the same exact time with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and medical families, the people not around them, the legal families, they all run into high lie progressions. And then description, putting fake transcripts, forging names, putting whole fake transcripts. When did this stop from founding black pupils? They won't even get on paper. I've been begging Judge Napolitano, get the Weatherfield interbranch on paper, one name in sequence, please, Judge Napolitano. It'll heal them. Otherwise, they're predators. If they want me to forgive them and show them what actually, because there's other names. I just want the foreign name. I want the hyper foreign name because all sides have their Russians have it against Russians too. Tactically delusions, raw, criminally foreign influence readings of American history and of Russian history. Look at the suburbs designed before America's founders were born. Look at search the quality aspects of fact-sheet nature. Parker English is increasingly making confessions and demonstrations about how he approached me and why and timing of it in a hallway at Central Connecticut State University when I was in class with him. And he's got delusions relative and with this. In other words, I have perfect logic. We have criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw. Even people that served our country. That doesn't mean that they're not fakes where it counts, where we're dealing with facts. You get them on paper, one name in sequence. What is he doing on Walker Hill Road with those fakes, intercities and interstates, the same ones foreign and hyper foreign here and there? Get them on paper, please. Judge Napolitano, there are people involved with violence. I don't know their names, they know mine. Involved too. They're not all police. Even if there are some of them are intelligence, in other words. I'm going to show you how to deal with the violence in the child defenders and elderly homes at the same time. Same ones intercities that were on off Trinity College. If that was it, looked just like Puff Daddy to me. Did he? In other words, and people with people involved with the World Trade Center and Manhattan, as ones involved criminally with Washington D.C. are also in Connecticut rolls with it. Are also ones involved with Miami. There are proofs that they took me a picture near me near one of the Scloras in Miami, and that was a fake, like a person laying down and with the blood thing in Miami. In other words, these are people involved increasingly next to my kindergarten class, the school I went there 1 year. Increasingly, houses next to it, and people moved in there, and others I don't even know that are speaking on the Wethersfield town offices, different meetings and things like that, where they have the comments blocked, where they have more digital crimes and they have more child abusers. More confessions were made by the principal child abuser to me. They've been hiding things and making things up to parents of kids. They've been doing sick things to men and women, sickly sexually, with their minds and their conversations on the kids of the youngest ages. And these are ones doing it between and next to the campuses. This breaching method showed the identities of law that you need to hide, how they used them remotely in the past, and how they're going to need to hide things in the future. It's and now active. You guys have to follow mandated law, please, even if it wasn't Puff Daddy. There's some black KKK themed Confederate flag thing, whole bunch of medical offenders associated with a marked violet, with military too, foreign and domestic, at UConn, involved at Hartford Hospital, and putting predicate acts on and off Trinity College with people that I don't even know, like this Joshua Stryker and Joshua Julian with the principal child abusers campus, the upskirt nature principal I caught first. Thank God he was caught off campus anyway. Joshua Julian and Mark Violet have roles with that. And with my past neighbor, we switching the name with the name Lewis and Kaliza. And the roles with pilots involved. Then everyone gets mad at me for mentioning people's names and things. Everyone wants to speak in backgrounds with their roles with things, and they have time roles with overt criminal enterprises, private ones. These are the same ones, time collusions with Afghan leaders and kids, involved with predicate acts with foreign and domestic military, with the Wethersfield police station, switching and forging names, refusing to get on paper legitimately since I was a kid, and with the interbranch family members, the same thing, and the intelligence tied to them, and they're also just faking things. And with the news is attaching kids to fake ties to doctors, fake mental. Watch the delusions wrought, criminally foreign influence, fact, cheap nature, quiet aspects in nature that we are capable of discerning, only capable of being of these psychiatrists. They're involved with all kinds of natures of organized crimes as proofs. Please get them on paper, Judge Napolitano. They've been hiding what's actually recorded with Facebook and with the readings of statutes, because when they're left out exceptions in exception nature, they left out what they actually knew was going on too, relative to what they say. Many pray. Watch what they've been doing with the mayors, pretending they speak about free speech. Watch what they've been doing with journalists, pretending they're about free press. Their sequence shifting style. They're sentencing for this breaching method too. The difference of their criminal predicate acts there or with the names next to them. Whole predicate acts methods are on a mass scale with the people speaking about crimes as collusion/S with every age and nature of campus, including medical campuses and fire campuses and prison campuses, like at Sandy Hook. A charge. Make sure they get on papers before I have to, keep writing videos and begging. Make sure you have obligations. Nancy Grace, make sure they get on paper. Let's get a response for the Joshua Stryker and the Joshua Julian with this Mark Violet and the others. I don't know, a whole bunch of people tied to a Ray Colo and my past neighbors, and with this Robert Rodriguez, some untimely deaths, and their roles with the elderly homes at the same time. And I still didn't get a response to the principal child defender's confessions, and they put faked and changed phone transcripts too with the police forms involved with these Mendez police too, with some KKK black theme, Latino theme intercities involved with the news, and like with the racketeering, worse than war crimes involved with the black white KKK, and then again through time, right on the Facebook page of the Child Defenders Campus, as one intercities involved with this Trinity College and with this Joshua Stryker and putting fake things in the campuses with the former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, and with a whole bunch of people tied to him and various natures of federal criminals and their family members and neighbors, also involved with all kinds of organized crimes and abuses of kids and elderly, with even the family members of judges and prosecutors involved at the same time here, like a Brian Silver, a Judge Smith, a Judge Killian, all kinds of sick natures of organized crime and delusions relative, and they're changing and replacing evidences. A Judge Killian's another one of the ones involved with more than one child abuser leader of her kids, First Force, and he has roles with digital evidences crimes where they change and replace what's digitally involved. Also, with the name of pretending they have integrity, really, where they don't not supposed to pretend they have integrity, as each of the identities of the names, like the FBI, CIA. CIA is also involved, even if that girl was making up the Kelly Kazmarek. In other words, I never saw her inside her campus in my life. Never saw her outside of her campus in my life. On Facebook, I know how to say her name because of Eric Jensen was influenced to repeat that name to me with his confessions in recorded roles with predicate acts and databases with intelligence families and state police all along the Borough Turnpike and conjunctions to it, and all along Route 3 and conjunctions to it, and from Weathersfield to Newington locations all the way to the New Britain locations. They have roles with a whole bunch of different countries and border countries involved at the same time with overt criminal enterprises and private ones next to Harvard Hospital, with the houses and the businesses and as families that have been planting evidences with names next to campuses, intercities, and at the campuses, putting fake ties, fake natures of ties to people exactly in a way, if they go back and speak about positive, negative properly with the history, with the past, or what is active now, they jump in with that, and they exploit the predicate acts side of the inside of the databases, criminally foreign impulse, tactically delusions raw. They have conversations too with the medical community involved, where and how intercities, like with all kinds of drugs and medicines, crimes and delusions at the same time, as the people supposed to be countering that. This is not by accident. They have a whole bunch of different countries that have been shared like this. And they can't afford to have discerned what is actually discernible and recorded. So the breaching method showed them that. So it showed them how to use predicate acts with facts methods and little magic tricks. And as collusion to self-value collusions with itself at all locations /S. You think they have free speech at New York City where those people are concentrated upon, stacked, where you can't plant one seed and have it grow, let alone the suburbs were tactically denatured and designed before America's founders were born for torture, extortion, and slavery. Anyone brings that up, they change and fake our words. How they get away with it is relative to this, too. Black pupils. Peer! Let's get them on paper, one name in sequence. Please, Nancy Grace. Let's get the Interbranch Connecticut has been switching names, forging names, sequences. I'll show you how they were raised. I would discern the breaching method You have to discern. Forgiveness is because not to leave out the breaching method with brain. And nature shows us where there are guilt, like with black people's whites of eye. How can anyone leave that out? There are roles with guilt, even if you're against it. In other words, and leaving that out and the breaching method at the same time. And leaving out what our founders communicated about that and the breaching method at the same time. And replacing it. And self-editing that while that is being having been used remotely, as each of the sciences names are. And the names of the people of the sciences in the difference of that, used remotely by a breaching method, clearer than day. Many pray. So please, in other words, these are games that they've been playing. That's why they bring up subjects and they keep there's a complete remote possession over the quality of fact sheet, the aspects of fact sheet, your styles of fact sheet nature. You guys get involved with people's businesses as dirty punks from A through Z from semi-ancient times. You pretend to leave out the significance of criminally foreign influence databases. Think about it. Don't let the people jump in and steal us from what we all believe and agree with a little sick, fake punk identity theft fraud thing. They don't care about these things they pretend. When they want to pretend emotions, pretend about what's true always, like the breaching method with the eyes, black people's whites of eyes, and replacing that. It's a predicate acts method with facts, way worse than anything it caused, which obviously that's going to cause criminals, huh? But way worse. In other words, please follow mandated law and nature grace. This will help because you guys have sick methods and natures and cover ups and looking away. Here, no evil, see no evil, and mass, but it's just a weapon. You get away with hiding and changing details because you guys do it together as prosecutors, as judges, while tactically delusions are out too. We could change this. You guys have to follow mandated law. Get me off the fake conversations with Connecticut's Channel 3 News and with themselves and with others and get all those people on paper. Let's go. Let's chop, 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 chop. Let's go.